best performance, but they are the second best team overall on Olympus. So knowing that 42 of their points throughout the group stages, which accounted for 43%, are from here, maybe they can do it. For VP and Aurora, this is going to be a good fight.
It's literally like the sandwich of zone pools when it comes to just Grow Towers, Sombers, or Gardens. You pick as Aurora are picking off VP 2 out for VP in effect.
Okay.
Missing out on some of these crucial shots. He said, you can't hit me. Shimashini trying to get the wall jump, but it's fine. Hiarker is able to pick up that KP as VP get eliminated, but the way he was able to wrap up on the other side is even better while he deviates his attention to the back.
He says, no one knocks my baby goat, okay? Effect is looking so locked. Even Grace was noting it from the green room. He goes, when they pulled up his player cam, he was so focused and he's like, oh, Effect's not losing. Aurora's got this.
Especially when you got your entire team still alive. Effect says, help me, after knocking those two, with VP now being the first team out. Seeing with a lot of these teams walking out on the Valkyrie, like we mentioned before, as well as the Newcastle, bunker down and find a spot. There's a lot of these ramparts to be met in the same type of composition, taking to the skies. Synap holding onto the skyward dive does have that evac tower that they just used recently and are going to be able to start rotating, considering that Synap has the blue perk. So he will be able to get the scan over to the teams that are right below them, having to be careful though with these snipers, finding your own spot with this quick rotate that you had mentioned earlier, Tiff.
Brilliant. At least they have place to go for them. They can dive in just above Wolves and into the cover they go. You can see the setup from JDG with those Watson fences. Of course, they're looking directly at this, but they still have to deal with NIP at their backs. Floating, locking in the fuse here is great to keep those knuckle clusters moving forward. For WGR Neo, they sense trouble up ahead. Deep Cross Gaming does have a couple players down.
Neo now moving forward too, being one of the teams with the Axel though, with the Nitro Gate, just enough. Rory is in trouble, gets knocked, DCG. Talk about bringing in some of that momentum when you have to transcend over from one map to another. E-District to Olympus, the last game on Olympus, with now Shao being the last one alive. Just try to queue out of there, please help me. I mean, it's unfortunate when you lose out on the Newcastle. Gets a little wall jumped out, just so that way you can try to mix up, get around this next corner. You could ping out on the replicator and maybe out in the distance here with Gen.G now getting that survey beacon. They know exactly where that solo is rotating to. Everybody's hungry, especially when you are now in Game 5, halfway through our 10-game series.
And we're just running straight out of Turbine. It's like, where are we going for the reset? You had Zipline Mafia that was looking for that information over in Turbine as well. So they're going to full send as we look back at our replay here of Aurora. A little slow-mo of the critical shot here from Hiarka.
And is that what this sounds like when you slow it down? That just sounded crazy. Sounded like it hurts even more than what it looked like. Oh no. You're forced to beat this as a solo. He had to have seen the survey beacon getting scanned, right? So you really have no other choice. Just going into the void real quick while the zone is closing in by Fight Night. The fact that Gen.G fly overweight, the timing on that raid Q was so crazy. He avoided getting scanned by the Valkyrie from Gen.G when they took to the sky and actually got away with going into Fight Night. He may be able to get the reset because of that alone.
I think he just baited that team into Gen.G Esports. So no, oh, Asia down. One member for Neo down as well. For Ziki, the last alive on the Valk, half meds. He's getting tagged from behind. WGR Neo are not letting this go, and Gen.G have fallen.
Talking about mating here. Now as they're going to be able to get Aqua back with the res and with him having the med kit, DCG will be able to go to the replicator over by Carrier. RRQ though, with the scan by Fight Night, it's about like having that ring console info. They will have that server beacon eventually, so they're going to call out where that solo is.
Very true. Meanwhile, Deep Cross Gaming, the solo still alive, retreated to the back of Carrier, looking for a full reset, and does obtain it. Roy and Lisan are coming back, which is crazy, because they start in Oasis, they try to rotate in, get taken out, and now we're back just as far away, so it's going to be a tough rotation for them. They do not have a Valk.
Team Arcade now looking at Neo. VK Gaming still up on the high ground. And it's going to be that back-to-back you were mentioning with DCG getting that full reset at the very least. RRQ now are forced to fight off against Neo. A bit of an isolated fight at that, considering that Zipline Mafia coming out of Rift. will want to prio this rotate instead. It's a lot of action with Strafing playing, being able to get that first knock. 18 squads still left, looking ahead. Why are you running to back-to-back? He's trying to get away. These longbow shots missing out until the last one, 60, but it's not enough, as he's literally still alive, 1 pixel of health between both of them, until Akba's going to be able to pop this med kit.
They're definitely going to get those heals off, and as they run through Estate straight towards Hammond Labs, will RRQ lay chase? You see the evac tower in hand, so healthy to be able to take this, and they're at 33 points on the series. That cut mark off, right? The 6th, so we must improve on that, and going to Estates to attack them. However, Aqua there, full health, immediately one Strafing Flame lands, the battle begins!
Oh my goodness, I mean, they're not letting them go. Strafing Flame's upset, they need this KP.
Oh?
Can he go for it at least this time around? Yes, he does! Eventually, he lands a longbow shot. He sees him go through the door, and it's an opening for him, as now Neo is down to a solo.
We did just lose out on PXX as Flat and Dinos both isolated them. There's going to be a ton of battles happening in that next circle, depending on how we shift. But for now, our teams like Team RRQ, Deep Cross Gaming, and Zipline Mafia still need to know where they want to approach from. I can imagine that RRQ is just going to cut east straight out of Hammond Labs. They're hovering over the survey beacon right now, likely going to base their information off of that. For Dinos on that southwestern side of the next circle, they're going to have to decide, do we fight Wolves? Do we capitalize on that? Kenotrope, on the other hand, have 2 down, and we've got a last-ditch effort against Dinos.
Oh man, Kenotrope fall, because Dinos are just hungry. They get more KP, while RQ just do not let Neo survive. I mean, this has just been a back-and-forth duel between both these teams. Since the very beginning that they got out of Fight Night, they took over the POI between Estates into Carrier, and now they were eventually chasing out that solo. They got the KP, and they said it's not worth chasing down the last member of WGR Neo. They want to prior rotate through Hammond instead, so that way they can control that high ground choke that would lead you out of the portal from Terminal, especially looking at how the zone is pulling. They can also get the information off the survey and ring console over there, while we take a look at Flat, who like to try to prioritize not only, Summers, when we see all these different zones, but now trying to approach Wolves in this building. Nano off of the Axle is going to be able to get the Nitro Gate and follow up to try to climb up here with the kickstart too. That could really help out this fight.
I'm just waiting to see how we're going to approach it. In we go, but through the fences, Nano loses out on his shields and is forced to reposition. This means Big Louie and Kusher will have to swing. But we're individually approaching this and getting broken down.
Dude, E36 is griefing them, actually, with the longbow, but now they have to drop down from high ground. It's not like they're going to show face. And now, Flat gets the trade-off, but Wolf gets the answer back because the longbow shots are just too much. I mean, E36, look, even if that was a face-off against Wolves, that's just going to be free KP for them without even having to leave from their spot behind the amp barrier.
Whatever it takes. If that's me in a spot in zone, dead center with a longbow in hand, griefing everyone, then you know I'm doing it.
It's like music to my ears. You know what's going on. We've all been there in Apex. Although a little bit of revenge from Wolves to be able to get the knock themselves. It's not like they're going to give up too much of that space, though, because even if they give up this building, see if Dinos want to try to counter-rotate through that southern choke, or if they do want to commit coming in from the low to high ground towards Grow Towers from the middle part of the POI from Olympus that exits out of Labs, as Team RRQ do actually end up backtracking because we do get the res onto WGR Neo, so that means that that's going to be a trade-off from both these teams that we have seen from the very beginning eventually, but we'll see how that plays off too, while we see DCG now moving out of Gravity Engine. A lot of these teams are outside this next zone.
That's because it's going to be a really tough zone to play. Forced to pop the Phoenix kit here. The team with the most kills on your screen, 5 currently for the lobby. But we also find ourselves positioned, like you said, between Deep Cross Gaming and RRQ. So our choice is incredibly limited here. We want to get ahead of that, and that evac tower in the distance is going to let them know we are definitely not alone here, and they're going to immediately sight us out if we peek out too soon.
He got It disappeared. It disappeared. Immediately destroyed. Wondering if that was a shield from a distance or something, but that
Had to be. Maybe zipline?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that happen before, and with the team now trying to gatekeep them all. Oh my goodness! These shots, Rory DCG are hungry. Neil just cannot catch a break. Without finally trying to get them
the
straight
kickstart.
back, but the kickstart now pulls him up. Finds a knock. It's up to Shao from DCG, but they're in a terrible spot with the zone closing in behind their backs.
Let me just tell you, that kickstart from WGR Neo was everything. We're leaving the third behind, and as a duo, we take to the skies, straight over Aurora, and now we must find a playable space in that next circle.
I mean, coming out so deep into zone and literally being one shot, having to queue now right through the Watson fences. No time wasted when you're trying to put down the portal to get some of that extra speed. Hiding behind the crates. Nothing to see, though.
We're fine, right?
When you hear the shots from afar, it's a little scary.
It's where you start calming. I'm dead here.
Yeah, literally. I mean, they hear him. They hear him healing.
Oh, Kazakh from Zipline Mafia. Fresh off that match 4 win. This is their rotation. They saw every bit of it, and now they've sighted out one of the grow towers. Ty on that further west one.
15 squads left. Heads are dropping, and Aurora bunkering down with these Watson fences while Xiaochen is still alive. DCG is now neighboring right underneath Aurora.
If you're gonna have a rat, let it be the Wraith. Like, always let it be the Wraith. And we're just chilling for now. We'll keep tabs on him. Zipline Mafia, high ground, Ty on that tower, VKG in the center. And the fact that we can kind of just waltz around here without getting stared at is crazy to me.
It's even crazier to see how Zipline Mafia has just basically had the Cinderella story, right? A team that would not have qualified for LAN without winning their regional finals are now sitting in first overall, where the top 6 teams make their way into the final lobby, are now holding onto high ground, holding this north side, but they still have to start moving into the next zone because it's essentially pulling right on top of RRQ, where E36 were trying to grief Wolf Esports earlier.
The fact that RRQ get over there is just only something that a Valk can do. We have to make that maneuver. Wolves are still holding that south side, but Deep Cross Gaming, after hearing from Roy in that interview, he was talking about it's still early in the series, but our Zipline Mafia boys making sure that their backs are cleared out. Is that the position they want?
Trying to give them their energy. I mean, can they get there? TIE also trying to find their spot while Zipline Mafia take to the skies.
They pinged out right where RRQ is. You can see they're getting the information. Do we slam down on RRQ and hit the chow?
Hold on, they're trying to find their spot. They don't really like it. They hear the fighting though. They could try to go for a 3-3 while TIE also in trouble. You talked about the Sheila earlier. That's going to be E36. Who have controlled so many of these buildings over on the outskirts of Grow Towers, are now looking at the action collapse right before their eyes. This is where they've been hiding behind these amp areas with a huge damage output. They find DCG, the unfortunate solo that could not get the reset, and TIE followed thanks for fun to get that KP to their name. 13 squads left, and only 2 teams are in this next zone right now, with the rest of this lobby on the outskirts on the north side of Grow Towers.
GK wipe out ninjas in pajamas off screen here as we work with Wolves, as Dinos have just moved in underneath them. You immediately start to see the setup, because as you know it, this is the south side fight. Who will move first? Zipline Mafia elsewhere taken out by JDG. The team in 5th place.
So you need to see here when Zipline Mafia have such a lead by 45 points, with 4 Fun being right behind him with 39. They could get overtaken. JDG sitting in 5th now, looking down at Shopify, who are right at their feet behind a Newcastle, while Boney's in trouble. Zainu tries to give him suppress fire, with JDG being one of the few teams out here with the Fuse, Watson, and Alter getting the ammo that they need with this passive here from Stay Naughty, but he's just going to continuously harass them because they're just hiding behind this Newcastle while they're stuck in the line of sight of so many other teams.
And we have to go south from this. With all the teams out towards their left, it's going to be incredibly difficult. WGR Neo have found themselves in a precarious situation underneath GK, but even they can't peek because so many people are ahead of them. WGR Neo have fallen into the top 10. We go.
I mean, we got to see this pile up with JD Gaming and Shopify. Now that the zone is closing in, GK are trying to survive the chase down against QQ. who's out, and the rest of BK Gaming, no flying around as they clip the Valkyrie wings. Say hello to my little friend as the Sheila is out. Looking down at Wolves, gets the following crack though, and the ring's closing in, which makes them move up, but it's enough pressure to force them to look away. Now it's down to only Keon, but the action has not stopped. Shopify get the following nuts. Dino's going crazy, and 4-1 fall as well as GK.
Wolves trying to crawl their way in. Dino's already there. Aurora, we lose JD Gaming. The collapse is here. And Wolves have all 3 players up. Will they be able to take down Enterforce 36 and the fight that keeps continuing?
Aurora trying to make this comeback, the Cinderella story, but you challenge Sheila! Even with the L-Star, it's up to Oirain being on the Newcastle to get these reses. They can hear him from the other side though. And it's 5 squads left. It's so hard to get this off, and Aurora get eliminated. In 5th place, Wolves, who have been holding this down, our neighboring Shopify, who are playing right underneath them. Enterforce 36 on the other side of the fence line behind these amp walls.
I don't know what it is about Wolves in the north. I'm feeling very Game of Thrones like. Maybe there's some dire wolves. They are surviving, but the next chow, Shopify Rebellion. Sheila, not available, but the RE45 is working just as good here for Zap.
Talk about dire wolves, maybe they're Starks themselves. They're hiding behind these walls. Zainu takes it off angle. They didn't see him. They were fixated right in front of the house. Only up to No Name. He just gets sandwiched though. But the fact that No Name gets this knock is great. He's dancing around the pony. Seeing that they just got the rest, this is very bad news for Shopify. He even gets a shield swap. And Phony, where are you going? Back to the lobby, apparently, as Shopify get eliminated.
And Wolves with the reset. Crazy Kong on the Newcastle. That is the best plays you could have done to keep the team in the fight. No Name, infinite ammo upgrade going hard. And now with the Valk, maybe we're taken to the sky to look for that info as Wen and Crazy Kong can play oversight, but RRQ are still alive on the south, controlling this space. Missile swarms incoming.
With No Name taking to the sky on the Valkyrie. He's got 5 KP, by the way, to his name in this game alone. He gave the information to the rest of Wolves, and they have the high ground. They know where E36 is coexisting right underneath to their bottom right. And RRQ are praying that Wolves and E36 fight each other first so that way they can 3P and win this game.
And RRQ, a Valkyrie to the sky. Wolves staring directly at them. For now, they want to force Enterforce 36 into it. Strafing takes entirely too much damage. If your Newcastle goes down here, the fight may be over.
Now trying to hail from above with the way that just is able to get this knock out the strafing though. E36 still staying alive while Wolves and RQ are trying to coexist right underneath each other. With Wolves being on the top, you see another one now skyrocket themselves with E36 taking it off angle, but with Wolves fighting this knockout to Ubli, they have the advantage slowly as Wolves are looking to roar from the high ground. They come slamming down with the Newcastle. They need help. They try to find this isolated fight. The Valkyrie versus Crazy Kong, but he's got the Elster and he gets the dub as Wolves take game number 5.